No matter what your plans are for the new year, you could have goals, resolutions, or just want to do a little bit better. The number one thing that you and I are going to get better at is managing our time. Now, here's the thing about managing time. It just kind of floats through the air. It's not a real thing that you can manage, but you can use it intentionally. And I'm gonna share something today that's gonna help you do that on another level. Better than time blocking, better than having a fake assistant, might actually be better than having a real assistant. Because the truth is, you don't need more time in the new year, you need a better system. You need a system for success, so on the days that you feel a little off or you don't remember the plan, something else can remember it for you. Gone are the days of losing track of all of our ideas and notes and appointments in planners and online portals. Where's the Zoom link? We're done with it. We're gonna do everything with one simple system, and that's thanks to our friends at High Level. I'm gonna show you the exact calendars I'm setting up for my new year so that I know I don't have to think about this when somebody asks me for my time or needs to know if I can get something done. It is all going to be managed, taken care of, and decided. Before I show you that, first, this video is sponsored by High Level. That is the tool I'm gonna be showing you how I'm going to be managing my time all of the time going forward. And I'm so excited in this video to announce that I'm an official partner for them, and there is a very good reason why. This tutorial I'm gonna show you is just one way that High Level is streamlining my work. I can't even begin to tell you how much money that I'm saving on all these tools that I don't need anymore because High Level does it. It's astounding. So I had no choice but to just shake them and say, like, you've got to let me work with you. This is a miracle, and I want to tell everyone about it. When we talk about efficiency, productivity, and getting stuff done, this is what I'm talking about. Everything from your calendar to automation to following up with people, setting up amazing landing pages that you're going to be so happy to share. They do it all. So for the tutorial, the second thing you need to know is I highly recommend you download a free trial. Because you're my friend, you get a really great one. It's 30 days instead of the average 14. You get 30 days to try it for free. And you're gonna wanna do that so that you can do these things with me as I show you how to set up the calendars. And there's another great reason why you're going to want to download the trial. You may have heard recently that I took my coaching clients to New York and we did an event that was an intensive mastermind to plan their next year. And it was called Best Year Ever. Well, it went over so well, and I had so many DMs of people saying, I wish I was there. That I was like, well, how could we get everyone there? So I decided we're bringing it to everyone. I'm gonna be hosting a free online event. It's 3 days, December 8th through the 10th. That you can attend from the comfort of your own home. I'm gonna be teaching all of the same strategies that I teach my clients at the highest level to those of you who attend and want to make sure that you are going to create your best year ever. Here's the thing, you can attend for free, but only if you sign up for High Level with my affiliate link. So follow directions in the description down below, sign up for High Level, get the free trial, poke around, see all of the amazing features that are available to you. This is applicable whether you are a full-blown business and already have operations up and going, you're a side hustler trying to figure out how to do things better, or the average person that needs to do a better job of networking and following up. If you fall into any of those camps, you need to check out this trial. And you get to come to my event if you do. So check out the link in the description below to sign up for your 30-day free trial to High Level, which gets you free access to Best Year Ever. Once you're all signed into your account, you're gonna see a lot of getting started steps that you can take. I'm gonna take you straight to the calendar tutorial so we can dive in there. You can do a lot of that stuff later. The first thing we're gonna do is go to settings. The very important step of this process is that anything that happens in your High Level account is checking your calendar to make sure that it works for you. So first thing we need to do is go to My Staff, and we're gonna create ourselves as a staff member. So click Add User, and I'm gonna put my name here, my email, click Next. So there's a number of things you can do here. What I want to do first with you is calendar configuration. What this is a connection to your existing calendar system so it knows where to post the new calendar details that it creates for you anytime that happens, and also what appointments you've already got on the calendar that it needs to stay away from. So you can see here, I already integrated my Google Calendar, so it knows exactly where it's going to be linked and where it will post new appointment information. And other calendars that I have, because you know I'm the calendar queen, I have so many calendars within Google Calendar, that it's gonna check for conflicts. So anything that would show up as busy on my calendar is going to be a no-go zone, in addition to the other rules that I'm setting with the individual high-level calendars that we're about to create. So you wanna make sure your calendar is integrated so it knows where to put the information when somebody books time with you in the high-level appointment setter, but also most importantly, respects the boundaries that you put in place. This is a vital first step. Once you have all that set up, we can hit the ground running. Now we're gonna head over to calendars in our settings, and this is where we get to set some up. So I'm gonna actually show you real calendars that I am creating in high level that if you were to communicate with me and have an appointment like this is literally the link that you will get. First, we click on New Calendar. So you can see there are a lot of calendar appointment types that you can create from. And that's because there's lots of different types of appointments that we have. So I have a group coaching program, and sometimes I meet with people for a digital coffee. There's so many ways that we meet with people and set time. And each of those ways should have their own set of rules and also their own way of booking. So you want to find the right calendar type depending on what you're setting up. I'm going to give you an example. For the first calendar type that I need, it's the most important, and it is when I meet with my group coaching clients, Amy Landino's Inner Circle. I'm going to choose class booking for this because it's one host meeting with multiple participants. So I want to make sure all of those participants are updated on the information about the call, but I ultimately make the call on when the call is and how it all happens. So we'll start with a class booking. We're going to name this. I like to put a big word at the beginning of my appointments just so it's really obvious. Amy Landino's Inner Circle. I'm going to select myself as the team member. Then you can change the URL. I like to just put ALIC. Meeting duration is 90 minutes and 100 seats per class. Now, I know when me and my clients meet, I'm not going to share that here, but let's just pretend that we meet on Wednesdays and it's going to be around noon Eastern time. And that means we're going to cut it off at 1:30 because it will be the same time every time. The meeting location is on Zoom, but also not going to get more specific than that. And if you need to take payments for this type of appointment for your situation, you can do that here as well. You would just toggle this on and add those details. I do not, so I'm just going to confirm. And now I have the link. So when we go and check that link, we see the next time that is available and someone can select it and add it to their calendar. So that's an example of how I would use high level for coaching. Another thing I'm going to make sure to do is go back into the appointment and under availability, make sure it shows up as recurring because this is something I do every single week. I meet with my clients every week. So it allows you to repeat up to 24 times. And so we're going to do that. So as you can see, it's on the calendar every week, Wednesdays at noon, so that my clients can see. And if for some reason something has to get rescheduled, I can fix that. But it's very easy for them to book and get all the information for our call right here. Another call that I take pretty often is a podcast guest interview. So somebody will send me an email and say, hey, Amy, we'd love to have you on the show. And I'm like, that is so awesome. But we spend a lot of time doing back and forth of when I will be showing up on their show. Now, I am of the opinion that if you want me on your show, then you need to work with me on what dates work best for me, which is why I love setting this up here because it can be very easy for them to be like, how's a Monday? How's a Saturday? And I know that I don't do Mondays and I don't do Saturdays with anyone. Literally anyone. Saturdays is just for my family. Mondays, I don't want to talk to anybody on the phone. So if I have rules about when I'll do podcast recordings, I can put those here. This is where that time batching element can really play a role. So podcast booking is, to me, like a personal booking in high level. So we'll put podcast interview, and I'll say interview Amy on your show. Select my calendar, and we'll just make this URL really short and sweet. For the meeting duration, it's pretty typical that people want to spend at least 45 minutes interviewing me. So we're going to have to set the meeting duration for 60 minutes max. So this way they see there's 60 minutes on my calendar. Cool. Then we can have a little bit of hello, how are you at the beginning of the call, a little bit of wrap-up time. But if they want 45 minutes of me on the show, then we need to keep it very focused. I try to keep the beginning of my week to be very focused, driven work. I know I don't like talking on the phone on Mondays. I'm probably shooting video. I'm also probably shooting more on Tuesday, and I coach on Wednesdays, so I'm not gonna talk to people on Wednesdays. Thursdays and Fridays are going to be the days that I'm okay with taking podcast interviews. So those are the only days that this calendar is going to check for me for setting up those interviews. I also do not talk to people before 10 a.m. So it's gonna be 10 a.m. at the earliest. And the latest I can do is 2:30 because I pick my daughter up from school. So that's going to be the hard stop there, and we'll hit confirm. So now the next person that asks me for a podcast interview is going to check, and they'll see all Thursday and Friday availability, all of the different opportunities that they could find to book me for their show. Now, here's an interesting thing about this. Podcasts are a little exhausting. You don't want to do too many of them. So I'm coming into availability here, and I'm going to say that the max I will do per day is 2. I also don't want last minute notice for being on someone's show. So I'm gonna put a minimum scheduling notice of 7 days so that I have a total heads up as to when that person is going to have me showing up, bells on, and chatting with them for their podcast. Another thing I want to point out is that there's a date specific hours area. So what you can do is if there's a specific date that you want to call out, that there's more time that you can dedicate to something and you're actually trying to book as much as possible in that day as you can, then this is a great place to have that extraordinary option take place instead of creating a whole other calendar that's basically the same thing with different scheduling rules. You can do it based on a specific date, how you want it to go. And this last meeting type is really important. There are going to be a lot of moments in my work where somebody says they got to get on a call with me real quick. Usually when someone says, I got to get on a call with you real quick, it's like, I want to talk to you about something, but clearly I don't know what my agenda is because I just feel like we're going to spitball for a bit. That's fine. In certain cases, you might deem that excitingly important or cool. I don't find that there are a lot of those that happen for me, but when they do, I definitely don't want to spend an extraordinary amount of time trying to figure out how to schedule it. So the easiest way to do this is to say, I'm happy to. Let's get on a call. Let's jam out real quick. But there are only certain times of my week that I'm able to do that. And instead of me having to say, I only have 20 minutes for you, I'm gonna let High Level deliver that information. So I'm gonna click on personal booking and I'm going to say 20-minute conference call and select my name to check the schedule. We'll just call this 20 minutes with Amy. Meeting duration, 20 minutes. Not gonna happen on a Monday. Not gonna happen on a Tuesday, but we'll keep it open to Thursdays and Fridays like we do with the podcasts. Same rules after 10 a.m. and before 2:30 and confirm. Now, what I love about this is it's setting a boundary really easily and saying that there's only so much time I can give you, especially for something that seems a little unclear. I actually really like the advice I think Tim Ferriss gave in the 4-Hour Workweek. You should always ask for an agenda for whatever the meeting is somebody wants you in. If somebody wants a meeting and they don't have an agenda, unclear as to whether that meeting should actually take place. Sometimes though, that human connection does break through some issues or clarify some things that are really important. So we have to leave that door open, but we can still set boundaries for it. If you think, oh, Amy, this is so easy for you to say because you're Amy and you can make these rules, I want you to know something. You get to make the rules and you also get to follow them. The worst case scenario is that you set some rules and somebody's like, that doesn't work for me. And you have to talk through it. We got to learn how to have that confrontational discussion, and that's okay. But what if you just sent this and somebody said, okay, great, thanks. That's called leading the way, having some structure, knowing what you're doing, and acting like it. And I think a lot more of us could do that. Simply by having those three, I mean, I could keep going. The amount of things people want from me, of all the calendars that I can create in high level so that I don't have to spend a lot of time in back and forth. And even sometimes talking to my assistant, they're like, oh, but what about this? It's gonna bump up with that. If the rules are always the same and it's not gonna surprise me, I don't care when this 20-minute conference call is, but it can only be during the times that work for me. I have to get my focused work done. I have to have my creative thriving life on a consistent basis. Otherwise, this whole machine breaks. Just those 3 appointments saves so much time and sets boundaries that say, I know what I'm doing, I know how I'm operating, I'm getting more efficient, and I can be confident in myself that this is going to work because I'm not going to let it work me. So easy. I just love how easy this is. All right, so now everything's set up. All I have to do is send people the links if I want to meet with them and I've decided it's a good idea. The boundaries are already set. They're gonna be able to book the time slot that makes the most sense for how I want things to go in my life and my work. I hope you give High Level a try. If you do, make sure you use that link in the description below to get a 30-day free trial because you're my friend. And also so you can get access to my free live event, which is called Best Year Ever. If you don't know what to focus on, if you don't know what you should be doing, if you don't know how to get out of your job and make something better, if you don't know how to grow your business beyond where it is right now, you're going to want to be in this room. The link is in the description down below, so make sure you sign up now so you get all the details sent to you. And thanks again to High Level for sponsoring this episode of Amy TV. That's my video about how to stop wasting time in the new year using amazing tools to keep you from failing. But if you need help trying to figure out how to get your life together 1 week at a time, click here and I'll see you there.